so I think I'm going to call on somebody else first. No, I'm just kidding. Does anybody have any questions?
The former governor at one point talked about a starting salary of 46. The Democrats threw out 50. How did you get to 50?
Look, we want to be competitive, and we want Arkansas to be at the top, and this allows us to do that. We also want to really focus on rewarding the hardworking teachers who are delivering for our students and make sure that we are responsibly doing that, and this allows us to do that.
We have a total price tag for this plan?
We're looking rough estimates. I would say in the first year, probably around $300 million, $150 million of that is new spending. A lot of this is money that already exists that's geared towards education programs. Sure.
Will the bill only allow use of public funds at accredited schools, or will it truly encourage innovation and entrepreneurship in education?
Certainly encourages innovation and entrepreneurship. There are some accountability measures that we want schools to adhere to. We think that's incredibly important. If we're investing state dollars, we want to make sure we have that accountability mechanism in place. To be clear, this is not a mandated program. It is optional for schools to participate in. It's optional for homeschool parents to participate in, but you will have to meet that accountability mechanism if you want to opt into the program.
You talked about indoctrination, you talked about that in your speech last night too. Is this legislation going to include critical race theory ban put into law, something similar to Florida's law dealing with how sexuality is on the schools?
Absolutely. We want to make sure that we're protecting our students. Our goal is never going to be to teach kids what to think, but how to think. And so we want to make sure that that's our focus. The language from the executive order is similarly mirrors in this legislation when it comes to CRT. We want to make sure we're not indoctrinating our students. Secretary Leave, I don't know if you want to add in on that, but certainly there are things in this legislation that do that.
Would there be something similar to the Florida law in this legislation as well too?
There would, because we want to make sure, again, that we are protecting our students and making sure they're not exposed to inappropriate material.
So with the educational freedom accounts, if I got the terminology correct.
So far, you're doing good.
Okay, would the amount be the same as the school districts get from the state, or what was the size of it?
Make sure I'm following your question correctly. Are you asking the investment for the accounts?
Per student, right?
Per student, it's very similar. I don't know if you want to walk through the detail. Go ahead.
Yeah, so some of those details are still being ironed out, working with the legislator. But there's kind of that base student funding that every student generates. The foundation funding. Some of the figures are on. Is it about 90% of the foundation funding for that value that would go into the education freedom account? But as stated, there's some nuances. There's some technicalities that we're still working through.
What's the timeline for this to be introduced and considered by the legislature?
We've sent all of our language to BLR, and we're hopeful that they'll get that back to us as soon as possible. You are welcome to lean on them along with us if you would like to see it quicker, because so would we. Take one last question. We want to make sure that we have the ability to implement the program correctly and address the students with the greatest need, and so we think a phase-in approach allows us to do that. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you being here and look forward to working with you.